Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 80 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
How you doing?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm full. We just finished dinner and then had these amazing cupcakes that we picked up at Strong Hearts in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really full. Mine was a Oreo cupcake.
And mine was a strawberry shortcake with almond.
Yeah, that sounds
And it
good.
was genius.
Yeah, I didn't get to taste it.
No.
But
I
you
wasn't
didn't-
about to share.
You didn't taste mine either, so
I didn't.
There you
No.
go.
No, I wasn't about to share.
We didn't
I was
share.
digging the berry thing way too much, yeah.
It looked really good.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Their baked goods are really, really well done.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, enjoyed
Yes,
it.
they are. And actually, those weren't the only cupcakes we had because we also had cupcakes yesterday.
We did. Yesterday, I had a chocolate mocha cupcake.
Yep.
Which was also fantastic.
And I had a strawberry crunch cupcake.
Yeah, it was really cute. It had like those little strawberry
Had the little wafer cookies on it, and then little like wafer cookie crumbs sprinkled over the buttercream, and then there was strawberry in the center, and it was really good.
Yeah. Mine was very mocha-y, and on top was a chocolate-covered coffee bean. I was concerned I was not going to be able to sleep last night, but I did manage to get to sleep, so it didn't...
So you ate the coffee bean early enough,
I guess so.
that it didn't
It didn't
kick
affect
you into not being able to sleep.
No. Thank God.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was good.
It was good. And of course, we went to Strong Hearts yesterday, and these cupcakes are not the only things that we ate.
No, I had
I believe you had the Thai tofu salad.
I did. I had the Thai tofu salad, which was really good. The Thai dressing, really good.
Yeah. And I did not go in the same kind of light direction as Christine did.
You did not.
I did not. I had been looking at the menu the night before, and I was kind of feeling something on the decadent side. So I went with their chicken wing burger.
Right.
Which, lo and behold, is a burger with chicken fingers on it.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought it was just like the chicken fingers in a burger bun, but it was actually...
a burger.
A burger. I think they use Beyond.
Yeah.
So it was a Beyond burger with chicken fingers on top.
Yes, with buffalo sauce
Yeah.
and blue cheese sauce and fresh onions on a beautiful brioche bun. And, not a combination I ever would have put together on my own, but it was spectacular.
It looked really
It
good.
was so good.
Again, no sharing. She didn't share.
No.
Alas.
You did have some of my fries,
I
though.
did. I did steal some of the fries.
Yeah, that's considered sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my salad. It was really good, and even though it was light, it was filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after yesterday's trip, because this was our first trip to the Buffalo Strong Hearts since they opened last summer.
I know.
We'd actually been to the Syracuse Strong Hearts a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it was only our second trip to Buffalo, so we've decided now that we're going to make it like a monthly trek.
Yeah, we need to swing up there certainly more often than we have. So
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to try to shoot for a once a month trip to Strong Hearts.
or so.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a good lunch.
It was an outstanding lunch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And while we were at Strong Hearts, we had a fantastic conversation with Jenny and Jesse of Radical Foods. We'd made the trip up there specifically to meet them and get a preview, essentially, of some new sauces that they are offering.
Yeah, they're releasing their sauce line, and they wanted us to try it and talk about it. So we'll be trying them and talking about them in next week's podcast. So.
Yes, we might even be trying them on the podcast.
Yeah, we considered that, right?
Yeah, we did.
So it might be fun.
It might be fun to do a tasting on the podcast.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've done that. So
It's true. Yeah. So, but it was great to see them and wonderful to just chat with them and get to know them a little bit better. And we're really looking forward to the sauces.
we are.
Yes,
Yes. More on that next week.
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've had a couple of exciting meetings over the last week.
We have.
earlier in the week, we had a meeting with the fine folks that plan and organize the Syracuse Veg Fest.
Yep.
And they invited us to come and be one of the presenters on their, they have a main stage where they have presenters and they want to do maybe a forum and maybe some food information. Yep. So we're going to do something with them there.
Yes,
That'll
we're
be fun.
looking into that since we were planning on being at the fest and vending anyway. This is kind of perfect. So we're looking forward to working with the Syracuse Veg Fest team.
We are. What other Veg Fests are we going to be able to hit this year?
Well, the thing is, a couple of the Veg Fests that we were planning on going to have actually wound up conflicting with family engagements that we have. So the Syracuse Veg Fest is a go for absolute certain.
Right.
And then we are working under the assumption that the Western New York Veg Fest, which is of course our home Veg Fest, will be that first Sunday in August.
As far as I know.
That is the case, then we are good to go for that as well. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do the Pittsburgh Veg Fest because it is...
Well, no, you're talking about the Pittsburgh Vegan Expo.
I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Veg Fest.
Oh, when's the Veg Fest?
Veg Fest is one of the weekends that Lucy is here for Playground.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the Pittsburgh Vegan Expo, also we are not able to do because that is Trey and Savannah's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, we're definitely on for Syracuse and for Western New York or Buffalo, however you think about it. And we'll see what comes up as the summer presents itself.
Right. I know Buffalo Taste of Vegan will be coming up too, probably in June. So hopefully we'll be able to make that.
Yeah, for sure. And we will, of course, be at the Vegan Center pop-up markets. The next one is coming up April 22nd. Yeah. And then there's also a June market that I'm sure we'll make it to.
Yeah, we'll hit all those.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be a slimmer Veg Fest season. Did you mention Burlington, that we can't get to Burlington?
Also, because, yes, it's like all of the Veg Fests kind of condensed their dates and everything landed in August.
Yeah, we have a lot of conflicts with the dates of the Veg Fest this summer. So
yeah, last year was much more convenient.
It was.
Where there was
they should check with us first.
They really should.
I mean, come on.
So there's one in August, and then there's one in September, and then there's the first weekend of October. That all worked really, really well.
Yeah.
So far, our relatively local Veg Fests are not fitting into the calendar.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
We also have an unusual number of things going on this summer. So.
Already, is anybody else's year already booked up? I mean, we're already booked up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I guess that's how it happens. You know,
it is.
Yeah.
So
another meeting. Well, not really so much a meeting, but a webinar that I attended for the AFA. That's the Agriculture Fairness Alliance. I was on a webinar with them earlier this week to talk about the upcoming Farm Bill. And there are a couple of portals where we can submit constituency information surrounding what we feel should be included or what's not working with the current Farm Bill. And I'm going to put links to those because there's a March 31st deadline. Both the House and the Senate are giving the public until March 31st to submit any of their opinions on this, because that's when they start mulling it over. So even though the Farm Bill itself is not voted on until September, they start, like the 1st of April, they start working on it. So,
right.
So
and
I'm
the 31st of March is not far away.
No, that's the end of this week.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's really coming quick. So I'm going to put links to all that. And if you can't do that, if you can at least reach out to your representatives in your district, and you can find those. Just go to, I believe it's house.gov or senate.gov and find your representative. And at least shoot them an email telling them your concerns, surrounding the upcoming Farm Bill.
Yeah.
And how that you would hope that they would do more to support produce farmers, poor farmers, Black farmers, farmers of color, and that they would do something to reduce the amount of monies that are given from taxpayers to bail out
animal agriculture.
Animal agriculture. So, yeah, please do that if you could.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
And like I said, I'll put links into those portals. There's a portal for the Senate and a portal for the House. And if you want to take a look at that and submit your information, that would be excellent.
Sure would. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be part of the webinar.
Well, it started
However.
at like 4.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, I was still at work, and then
Yeah.
I came home and had to go back to work.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to hear that conversation, but
Yeah, but
I'm glad that
it was at
you
a
were there.
weird time. So,
Yeah, it's okay.
there
all
were
good.
quite a few people. I mean, there was like 60 to 100 people on the webinar. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they had 2 of their lobbyists on there explaining, what's going on with these portals and all that jazz, and kind of walked us through how to fill them out and all that. So,
Very cool. So you're an expert now.
no. I'm mildly more informed than you are.
Okay. Well, hey, that's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you've heard, but Philadelphia cream cheese, the Philadelphia cream cheese brand?
I do.
Well, there is now a vegan Philadelphia cream cheese.
Okay.
So this was another one of those things where I'm like, okay, a lot of people are excited about it. Should we be excited about it? Should we support it? Should we purchase this product? And I guess that's up to you.
Always.
But vegan Philadelphia cream cheese is made by Kraft Foods, which is owned by Big Tobacco, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Philip Morris owns Kraft Foods, and certain segments of Kraft Food are owned by Nestle. So we've already talked about Nestle and what goes on there. So yeah, it's I don't think it's a really good choice at the supermarket. I know everybody's excited to try it, and I've even actually heard people that have tried it said it's really good.
Yeah. But, and again, I do think it's good when these large corporations make vegan versions of, kind of their standard products.
Sure. It makes
visible and available. That's wonderful.
Makes it much more accessible to the average person, I suppose.
Absolutely. But, given where the money is coming from for this being owned by Kraft, Philip Morris, Nestle, for me, I'll stick with our Tofutti cream cheese because
I love Tofutti
awesome.
cream cheese.
So. Tofutti cream cheese rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll stick with Tofutti, but if you're in the mood, go right ahead. Try the vegan Philadelphia cream cheese.
Yeah, give it a try. It's completely up to you.
This is true. As always.
Yeah. Just thought I'd put that out there because I read an article about it. So
Cool.
every day there's new vegan products coming out, which is kind of great.
It is.
And even though a lot of these products are being made by not so great companies, it's at least, like Sam said, it's just making it more in the forefront.
Yeah. The additional visibility, I think, is good.
Yeah.
It's just the ethics of some of the companies that are producing these products.
Yeah.
And we know that they're not producing them for ethical reasons. They're attempting to get a market share of a growing sector.
Absolutely. It's all for the money.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'll stick with Tofutti.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever see it in the stores near us, and I wonder where in the stores will they put it? Will they put it right next to the regular Philadelphia cream cheese, or will they sequester it to that little corner
in the produce section
where they put like the tofu and
the tempeh and the tofurkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see, number one, if it even ends up in the stores near us.
Well, it's hard to say.
And number two, where in the store they place it. Because they should, at least in Aldi's, I like that they put the tofu in with all the other things. There's not like they keep moving it. That's a whole other story. Don't get me started. But
I was going to say, you were just complaining about Aldi and the tofu the other day.
But they keep moving it around. I don't know why they do that. But they do put it in with just all the other products. There's no sequestered little area for all of the
plant-based
stuff. And vegan stuff, which I think is good.
Right. I mean, if you're looking for a non-dairy coffee creamer, it's in with all of the coffee creamers.
Yeah.
The milk is with the milk. And yeah. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not hiding the tofu.
they just keep moving it. Even
Yes.
one of the associates there said, we just keep moving it. I don't know why we keep moving it. And I'm like, yeah, why do you keep moving it? They don't seem to know why, but they do keep moving it.
Oh,
But
well.
you clued me in on as to where it was now.
I did.
And I did find it and bought. They had 4 packages of tofu left, and I took all 4 of them.
There you go.
We go through a lot of tofu.
Yeah.
And all these tofu, it's organic,
Yes.
and it's like a third of the price of our other grocery stores. So.
Yeah. So, can't really go wrong with that.
No.
No.
Anything else do you have to say about the Philadelphia cream cheese debacle? It's not really
Well,
a
I
debacle.
don't know that it's a debacle. I really just thought it was a piece of news.
It was. I don't know. I'm sensationalizing it.
Yeah, per usual. But no, I don't think so. Instead, I think we should move on to the Our Vegan Kitchen recipe of the week.
Okay. This week is a recipe, like Sam said, from Our Vegan Kitchen, which means it's one of our own recipes.
Indeed. More to the point, one of Christine's recipes.
Yeah, I guess, if you want to be picky about it. So this week's recipe is a roasted veg bowl with pearl barley and a miso tahini dressing.
Love it. You can't go wrong with this combination.
It was good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yes, it was wonderful. And the roasted veg in question was a delightful combination of potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
No, I think that was it.
That was it?
Yeah, the recipe is up on our Patreon. It's available to our patrons, but you can really just use any vegetable that you like to roast.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Can't go wrong here.
The root vegetables and your fall vegetables, I think they do the best.
Well, I think
in this
they're just
situation.
made for roasting.
Yeah.
Fall veg is just made for roasting.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Turnips and Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes.
Yeah, root
potatoes,
vegetables
everything.
and cruciferouses.
Yes, cruciferi.
Cruciferi.
Yes, cruciferi.
That sounds like a metal band.
Doesn't it, though?
Ladies and gentlemen, cruciferi.
That's not bad. I kind of like that. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, beautiful pearl barley, which I was super excited for because I love barley.
Sam loves
and
barley.
I don't have barley nearly enough.
I'm just so with the barley.
I love the barley.
I love it in soups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was good in this iteration.
really
It was
was.
delicious in this iteration.
Yeah, and I like it
Yeah.
on salads. And usually when
Yeah.
you're putting a grain on a salad, you tend to go for rice or quinoa.
Yeah.
And I just love barley and farro.
Yeah.
Are the ones that I would go for if I was doing the
Yeah,
cooking. So,
We're out of barley right now, so
bummer.
I have to get more barley.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the miso tahini dressing was spectacular.
Yeah, and the recipe for that is also on our Patreon. If you become a patron, you have access to all the recipes that I put up there. So
Yeah.
check it out.
And it was absolutely spectacular. So this was another gem created by Christine.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely delightful.
Appreciate that.
Anytime. I appreciate you doing the cooking.
I love cooking.
I know.
I really do. Like in the morning, I'll be like making my coffee and thinking, what can I cook?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I do. I think it's awesome, particularly now that you're retired and you have time to, kind of dig into all those things. I think it's great.
Yeah. It's been really fun.
Yeah. What is interesting to me, though, is that I no longer feel at home in my kitchen.
I'm like, get out of the kitchen.
Yeah. I feel like I'm usurping your space in the kitchen now, which is really weird because the kitchen totally was kind of, especially when I was in big baking mode.
Well, baking, yeah.
Yeah. The kitchen was just kind of mine for a while.
Well, the kitchen is still a mutual domain.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I'm in there cooking, then,
Yeah. I get out.
get out. Unless I need help with something.
Which you never seem to, because I will offer help and you'll be like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just go read my book.
Yeah, you're not complaining, right?
No, I'm not. Although I do enjoy cooking and, I have missed it.
Well, how about this? Maybe next week you can do, because next week is a cookbook challenge recipe. If you want to make the cookbook challenge recipe.
I would, but the thing is I'm going away this weekend.
Oh, that's right. That won't work.
No. So maybe the weekend after.
Yeah.
But then it's from our vegan. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do all this off air.
Yeah, there's no need for you to hear.
You don't have
all
to
of
hear
this.
our scheduling situation.
No.
But yeah. So yeah, that was this week's recipe. Again, it was a roasted veg bowl with pearl barley and miso tahini dressing.
And it was fabulous.
It was really good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. Moving on to our noteworthy section.
Yeah, this is a good one. There's a new Q&A feature on Spotify. So if you happen to listen to the show on Spotify, check out the Q&A section where Christine will be posting questions relevant to the episode for you to answer.
Yeah, and there are questions up there now for like the past, I don't know, I think I went back maybe 8 or 9 episodes. I didn't go all the way back to the beginning and post questions. But
that'd be crazy.
But yeah, there are questions up that pertain to the episode that you can answer. So there's, I really kind of like this, that they're actually opening up kind of a community like interaction section on Spotify. So that's cool.
So it's like Compassionate Cucumbers trivia?
No, it's just a question. I ask a question like, what did you think about this? Or like, I think the question on this episode is going to be something like, I don't know. Have you found the Philadelphia cream cheese? Have you tried it? Did you like it?
I gotcha.
Something. They're just questions pertaining to the episode. It's not trivia.
Okay.
There's no test.
No test and no prize.
No.
Bummer.
No, it's just a way to interact.
Gotcha.
With the episode.
Well, it's super cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. Moving on to our main topic. This week we've got ex-vegans. How are vegans reacting to vegan influencers who stop being vegan? Should we care that they have stopped being vegan? And are vegans as compassionate as they say they are?
Yeah, that is indeed our main topic.
It is.
And this was spurred on by, I don't know if you're familiar with a gentleman who calls himself the Cosmic Skeptic. He's a young guy. He's in his 20s. And I believe he's like an Oxford or Cambridge grad. He's a philosopher. And he has a YouTube channel, and he does lots and lots of speaking engagements. And initially, most of his speaking engagements and YouTube channel were based on philosophical questions, a lot of them surrounding religion, because apparently he's a self-proclaimed atheist.
Yes, part of the new atheist movement.
Yeah. And at some point, he became vegan. And so he had a lot of vegan material, and he was making speaking engagements based on veganism and talking about veganism and animal agriculture. And recently, he notified his YouTube community in writing on his community page that he was no longer vegan. And it was a kind of a very vague explanation as to why he wasn't vegan. And let's just say that a lot of his followers just weren't very happy about it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of negative backlash, which I think he should have expected, given the vagueness of his post, where he just kind of said that, well, we have his post here. He said, for quite some time, I have been reevaluating my ethical position on eating animals, which is something people have also noticed. But what you will not know is that I had also been struggling privately to maintain a healthy plant-based diet. So when he starts off that statement by saying he has a change, it sounds like he has a change in his ethics, right?
It does.
So I can't imagine he would be surprised that people would react badly to that, given his past, if you knew his past and his speaking engagements and how adamant he was about the ethical reasons to be vegan. So his statement goes on and on and on. But I don't want to read his statement. What I wanted to do was kind of dive into the fact that so many of his followers reacted so negatively. And he did eventually put out a video explaining his statement. further, and I am going to include some of the audio from that video so everybody can listen to it.
Oh, okay.
But the main point was really how badly people treated him after he made this announcement.
Right.
I don't know what kind of video this is. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm basically just trying not to sensationalize this. I recognize that this kind of video can cause a lot of drama, bring a lot of attention, a lot of negative attention to the vegan movement, to animal advocacy. That's really something I'm trying to avoid. You know, I've been thinking a lot about how best to approach this whilst doing the least harm to animals and the least harm to the vegan movement as a whole. I'm still not entirely sure what that looks like. Of course, ideally, you would have wanted me to just stay totally plant-based, but I'm hoping to explain some of the reasons why I didn't do that. But crucially, and I should say this from the outset, even though it should be obvious, look, I'm not some kind of nutritionist. I'm certainly not a nutritional expert. And so I'm in a bit of an awkward situation here in that, you know, I feel I want to explain some of the problems that I was facing in maintaining a healthy plant-based diet. But I want to clarify that shouldn't be informing your position on the viability of a plant-based diet for yourself. A lot of people have been sending me studies, in particular the American Dietetic Association study that being vegan is healthy at all stages of life, including pregnancy, as if this is new information to me. Yeah, as if this isn't something that I was already aware of and wasn't citing myself. Of course, the American Dietetic Association says that a well-planned vegan diet is healthful at all stages of life. The key point is well-planned there, and my problem is not with the idea that every nutrient that's required to be healthy can be found in a plant-based diet. I think that it can. My problem is with the practicability of maintaining it for myself. So people have been asking, well, what's this magical nutrient that you can only get from an animal product that you can't get from plants? I want to clarify from the start, there isn't one. Every nutrient that you need to be healthy can be found in an adequately planned plant-based diet. I just want to talk to you about some of the reasons why I found it very difficult to maintain a healthy plant-based diet. I also want to clarify that I really don't know what my diet's going to look like going forwards. I don't know if I'll continue to eat these foods or whether I'll be able to abandon them again in the future. I really don't know. So I'm not trying to do an ex-vegan, anti-vegan thing. I'm not trying to come out and say, veganism did this to me, I had a horrible experience, and this is why you shouldn't be vegan. Like, I still want to encourage people to be vegan. I still want to encourage people, of course, to care about animal suffering and to help bring about the end of factory farming. Like, the fact of the matter is, I still think animal suffering matters greatly. I still want to see the end of factory farming as soon as possible. All that happened was, in practice, in my life, I found it difficult to maintain a healthy plant-based diet. That's it, really. I understand why that would annoy people or upset people, especially given that I'm somebody with a public platform, but that's what this breaks down to. Now, for most of my life, I've had a particular set of health issues, just like most people have some health issues that I must stress are unrelated to veganism. They're not caused by veganism. I had them before I was vegan. It's nothing like that. But, for instance, one of the most important or relevant here is IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, which people have to varying degrees. I've suffered with it quite severely for most of my life. It's not been as bad as I've been getting older, but it essentially translates to having some severe stomach problems, as well as, I don't really know how to put it, but you need to make sure you have access to a toilet. For most of my childhood, one of the great miseries of my life was that I essentially wouldn't be able to go anywhere that didn't have an immediate toilet access, because otherwise I'd be absolutely stuck out. And the anxiety of just being there and knowing that that was the case would be enough to bring on the symptoms of IBS. And I'd just be paralyzed by it. And so what I would do is have a very restricted relationship to food in these instances. It meant essentially not eating, or eating very minimally and safely. I'm well aware of the fact that every nutrient we need to be healthy can be found on an adequately planned vegan diet. My problem is with the practicability of this. You can imagine in a situation like the one I've just described, how it can be difficult even to make sure you're getting the right amount of calories, let alone making sure that you're on top of your macro and your micronutrient balance. Now, it's important to stress that I don't have any health problems, at least to my knowledge, that are caused by veganism, right? Like the IBS thing, I'm not saying that veganism causes this. And of course, I found that in practice, despite obviously having a lot invested in this, I wasn't able to make it work. And so I ended up experiencing a lot of the typical symptoms that you hear in these kinds of videos. So these are the typical things that you hear about. I was experiencing fatigue, but at the same time as insomnia. I just wasn't sleeping properly. I was experiencing brain fog. I was unable to properly focus. I was feeling physically weak. But I was also experiencing other commonly reported symptoms. I was having, a lot of bloating and a lot of gas, like a lot of gas. I was experiencing joint pain. I was experiencing all kinds of things that I found it very difficult to know what was being caused by my diet. And crucially, as I say, this isn't something that's caused by veganism. It's not caused by a vegan diet. It would have been caused, if it was caused by my diet, by the way that I was doing this vegan diet. But also there's something that I don't want to mention it, but I want to mention it in this context, which is that there have been various things that have happened in my personal life that at points have led to something of a mental health crisis. I don't really know what to say here because I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to give you the details about that. And again, crucially, I'm not trying to say that this was caused by veganism, but look, there were days when I would be eating 0 calories and periods where daily I'd maybe be eating between like 0 and 700 calories. And it gets to a point where you think, look, I'm just going to have to get myself out of this hole somehow. And one of the most important first steps is physical health. I know that people are upset and people are angry, but the amount of vitriol that I've received, I've seen people just obviously the constant DMing and the comments and people making memes and this kind of thing. And as I say, I understand that that's going to happen, but I'm just not going to let people start doing that about my personal medical history. I'm just not going to let people be memeing about that and making YouTube shorts about it. It's just not something that I'm willing to do. What I'm trying to do instead is get across the point that when I'm talking about the practicability of living a healthy plant-based diet, I'm not talking about the idea that a plant-based diet isn't or can't be healthy. What I'm trying to get across is that even if in principle it can be healthy and it's perfectly possible to be healthy on a plant-based diet, for various practical reasons, that might be something that's unattainable. And to not recognize that, I think, is a mistake, and I think it's going to do harm. And on that point, I should talk about some of the reactions that I've received just from the statement that I put out. I mean, there have been some responses that have been perfectly fine, disappointed or trying to understand or whatever. But, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that there's been a great deal of hatred and vitriol. You can see it for yourself. Of course, what you can't see is the things that people are messaging me privately. Maybe I can show some examples on the screen. It's been relentless and sometimes from quite established figures like, blue tick vegan advocates sending me messages saying that I'm, quote, retarded. As well as I saw that vegan teacher said that if we were living in a time where it was still legal, she'd be calling for my public hanging. You'll forgive me if I'm not going to give you the details, certainly not of my mental health experiences, when I know that there are people out there who are just waiting to essentially make content out of this. I've already seen people just making all kinds of videos and memes. I've been doing YouTube a long time. I built up a thick skin to this kind of thing. I can deal with mean comments, but I've had a lot of people reaching out to me to check that I'm okay. People seeing the responses and messaging me to be like, man, are you doing all right? I mean, this looks horrendous.
My viewpoint on this is really, really simple. That no one should be judged for one aspect of their character or personality or one singular life choice.
Yeah.
And one would think that a lot of his followers, would have some kind of empathy.
Well, I mean,
for him.
To be fair, a lot of them did. A lot of them did say, we feel really badly that this is the decision you're making, but we understand that this is your decision and it's based on a medical issue that he was having.
Yes.
So don't get me wrong. It wasn't all vitriol, No,
I'm sure it wasn't entirely vitriolic, but at the same time, I just feel like in my brain, the number one tenet of the vegan ethic is compassion.
Right. Supposedly. Right. Supposedly.
Number one, compassion. Compassion for all beings, all sentient beings. And so one would assume that includes not only the animals that we are refusing to eat, wear, purchase, or exploit, but also the human animals that surround us in our everyday lives, whether in person or through the magic of the internet.
Yeah.
And so it always bothers me when someone comes out with a, here's why I'm no longer vegan. Now, sure, a lot of them are doing it just for the shock value. I do not believe that that is the case here.
It doesn't seem to
by
be
any stretch of the imagination.
But some people who follow this young man, dare I say religiously, they follow him. Some people think that this might be a philosophical test he's running to see how people react to him when he says he's no longer vegan. I would hope that that's the case. I really do hope that's the case, that this is some sort of experiment that he's doing, because I guess it's not beyond something that he would do.
Okay. I mean, I don't know enough about the Cosmic Skeptic or his channel or any of that to even come close to commenting.
Right.
And if it is an experiment, then okay, I can see it as being an interesting one, especially if he's trying to get at our vegans as compassionate as they say they are. Because obviously, you know, they may be able to show compassion for our four-legged friends, but are they able to treat other humans with compassion?
Yeah.
When suddenly, or not even suddenly perhaps, but when a viewpoint changes or a course of action changes or a choice changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I wonder is if the people that did react so negatively and said some really terrible things to him, if this were somebody in their own life and not a quote unquote YouTube celebrity,
right,
would they have reacted that way, or would they have had a little bit of compassion for this guy? He's literally like 28 or something. He's just a kid in my
age
eyes,
has nothing to do with it, though.
No, but I'm saying he has a lot of life to live.
Certainly.
And a lot of things to
certainly hope so anyway.
A lot of things to learn. And, you know, it doesn't, I'm not saying because he's young, people should be nicer to him. What I'm saying is just that some of these people don't seem to have any sort of compassion towards him. And I think part of the reason is because with YouTube and social media and all that, people start to lose their ability to see these people as human beings, you know?
Sure. Yeah. And I think also, you know, especially if you have a large following, okay, which we blessedly do not, but when you have a large following, it's almost like I've definitely seen in comments on other YouTube channels and stuff like that, that the viewers or the listeners seem to, in a way, kind of take ownership of whoever the personality is.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if that person then changes something about the way they do things, then the viewer or the listener somehow feels betrayed.
Yeah.
Because they're not who the listener or observer thought they were.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre.
Yeah, I find it a little disturbing, to be honest, but you know, I find many things to be disturbing about the internet.
Yeah.
So,
well, one thing that somebody said to him, and this was from another apparently hugely popular YouTube personality who calls herself the Vegan Teacher. I've never consumed her content, or I don't really know much about her, except that a lot of people like to take her videos and do like response videos to them. Because I guess she says some pretty crazy things.
Okay.
But her response on his comment on his very own community page on his YouTube was something to the effect that if this were another point in time, she would hope that he would have been publicly executed for no longer being vegan.
Okay. I'm sorry, but that kind of sentiment is inexcusable.
I know, right?
There's no
it's not
call
very
for
vegan.
that at all. No, there's nothing vegan about that. Not at all. Our motivation is to decrease harm, not to increase harm. And that means to everyone, not just to animals.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, truly the word militant. I was not so long ago called a militant vegan by a colleague of mine. And I thought that was really funny because I'd never thought of myself as militant in any way, shape, or form. Obviously that comes from the word military. And, I don't, that suggests combativeness, and I don't see myself as being combative in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so when I asked him about it, he clarified, and he says, well, you are really, you're very steadfast in your beliefs that this is correct. I'm like, yes, I am, but I'm also not imposing that on anybody else. I don't think less of you because you are not vegan. You have the right to make your own choices.
Right.
So yes, I'm vegan, and I'm not quiet about it. I'm not shy about it.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. But the idea of that like militancy, that combativeness, that's what I associate with that word.
Yeah.
So seeing what, some militant vegans out there, it's as though there's only one way to do things. Like there's this absolute need to be right and to have everyone around you also be right in that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or there's a certain loss of respect or affection or something like that. And I just think that is absolutely nonsensical.
Yeah. And I think what this also brings to light is this kind of hero worship thing that goes on with some of these YouTubers.
Yeah.
A lot of the comments were, I'm so disappointed, or you were my hero. And it's like, how does this guy's life affect you in any way?
Right.
I mean, I can see maybe enjoying hearing him speak because he is a very well-spoken man.
Sure.
And has a lot of really interesting opinions and views on things. Mm-hmm. But to call him your hero or to be disappointed or have your life be affected in any way because of his announcing that because of medical reasons, he's reevaluating his reasons that he's vegan.
Sure. I mean, we've all come to points in our life where we've had to reevaluate something.
Yeah.
Anything. And sure, I wish that he was in a position or, was medically able to resume his veganism. That would be great.
Yeah.
But if he can't, well, then he shouldn't. If it's going to endanger his health in some way,
right.
I think his focus needs to be on making sure he's healthy, that he's
exactly. And
before he worries about anything else.
And, the people that did say that this might be some sort of experiment may have something, because in the statement that he put on his community post, he was so very vague. And why didn't he just do that to begin with? He knew there was going to be all this backlash. And in the video, he does say, look, I'm not ever saying that you can't be healthy on a vegan diet. That's not what I'm saying. I also am still saying that I am against factory farming and everything surrounding it. Why not just say that in your initial statement that you release, if you're going to release anything? You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he wanted to retain some semblance of privacy.
I suppose.
Because, that's still valid.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
privacy, still valid.
Yeah.
I know it feels like, given social media and all of that stuff, that none of us have a right to privacy anymore,
right.
But we absolutely do. And it's part of the reason I don't engage with social media in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because I want to retain my privacy.
Right.
That I'm only sharing information when I choose to.
Yeah. And some people were really upset about it because he has apparently a pretty large Patreon following. Mm-hmm. Some of his patrons, I guess, had been reaching out to him like over the last year because they were seeing he wasn't producing any vegan-centered content.
Okay.
And he wasn't responding to anybody about it, and yet still taking their money every month, But to those people, I say, so stop.
Right.
Stop giving him money. If you had any question.
Right.
Or the moment that you reached out to him and he didn't get back to you, stop sending him
yes.
money every month.
Yes. Yeah.
That's your prerogative. He did, he doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
You chose to give him that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have concerns, choose not to give him
right.
that money.
Absolutely. Now, granted, it would have been the professional thing to respond
Right.
to patrons who had a concern.
Yeah, and that's when I keep coming back to the fact that he's only in his 20s. You know,
Yes, but
he
also,
doesn't have a whole lot of life experience probably with this kind of thing. You know?
I don't know about that because I'm sorry, but everybody under 30, they know a whole lot more about social media and the internet than I do.
Oh, no, the social media and the internet, he's got plenty of experience with that.
Yes.
What he doesn't have plenty of experience with is being held accountable to people.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Or feeling a sense of responsibility to these people that are donating money to him every month.
That could be.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But what it comes down to in the end is that he has the right to make his own choices.
Yeah.
And he should feel free to do that without judgment from anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the comments, this person said, don't apologize to anyone but the animals that are murdered for you. That's pretty.
I mean, it's certainly
pretty
direct.
frank.
It's certainly,
Pretty
well,
frank.
it's very pointed.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But what I don't understand is why anybody feels the need to take a shot
Right.
at somebody who is obviously going through something.
Yeah. This person said, do the animals get to reevaluate their views on you eating them? And a lot of people used his very own quotes against him because, of course, he's publicly spoken out against eating animals. And
Yes.
so a lot of people turned his own words against him. Like one quote that he has, extraordinary harm and mistreatment requires extraordinary justification.
Sure.
So,
But at the same time, can we go back to the fact that he's obviously going through something? He's having some medical issues, and those need to be his priority at the moment.
right.
So maybe cut him just a little bit of slack.
Yeah, I think we should all cut him a little bit of slack. And I think everybody should ask themselves this question. How does it affect you?
Right. And
You know?
why do you feel the need to belittle someone
Right.
for making a choice that is different than your own?
Yeah. Instead of just saying, and like I said before, don't get me wrong, a lot of people showed him human understanding, and said, look, dude, I hope you figure out what's going on with you.
Yeah.
And that you come back.
That's
You know,
the better choice.
That is definitely
Yes.
the best choice.
Without a doubt, the better
Yeah.
choice. It's supportive, it's understanding,
Yeah.
it's compassionate. Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why the need to just be mean?
Yeah, and I guess what it points out is, like, in this day and age, like, every movement has these people now, like on YouTube or other social media platforms, that are like being put up on these pedestals because they're saying what people want to hear, or people, I don't know, people just look up to them or think that they're like a voice for the movement and all that. And it's like, look, there's, what am I trying to get at here?
They're just people too.
Yeah, of course, they're just people too. I just don't think that we should be putting so much pressure on people who are voicing their merely voicing their opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at. I guess what I'm getting at is choose wisely the people that you put a lot of stock into. There's a lot of people out there on the interwebs and on YouTube. They're not all people that you should be putting all your stock into or looking up to or treating
Well, but
as though.
why do we need to look up to or pedestalize or deify internet personalities anyway.
No,
at all.
No, not internet, quote unquote internet personalities, but there are people in the movement that you can look up to.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yes.
There are honest to God activists that you can look up to, put your money behind, join their Patreon, whatever. And they're not just talking heads,
right.
They're people of action.
Is that what you were going for?
Kinda.
Did you land on it?
Kinda.
Okay, cool.
I think I had too many cupcakes.
You had one cupcake.
I know. It's the sugar.
Uh-oh. Are you sugar rushing?
A little bit.
That's all right. It'll fortify you for editing.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah,
true
fortify
that.
you for editing.
So do you have people that you follow or look up to? Not Sam, but you out there.
Because I was going to say, yes, I absolutely do.
Yeah. Who are the people that you look up to?
Certainly.
Or follow?
Certainly Earthling Ed Winters.
Right. He's a good one.
Without question. Certainly Peter Singer.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, my deep fandom of Dr. Michael Greger.
Sure.
Anita Kronk.
Oh, yeah.
The Pig Save, Animal Save movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. There are folks that are out there doing and also giving very, very solid information.
Not only giving solid information, but giving of their time.
Yes.
And
their energy and their expertise.
Yeah.
And all of that good stuff.
And they're not just out there trying to get followers or listeners or...
Right. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're out there doing it. They're living their ethics instead of just
talking
standing
about them.
Right, and standing on a soapbox and talking about them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I would include Jake Conroy.
Oh, for sure.
In that, otherwise known as the Cranky Vegan. He definitely is a man of action, and he he spoke on this very same subject with Cosmic Skeptic, and basically said most of the things that we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Where is our compassion?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be this compassionate movement.
That's right.
Where is our compassion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It serves no one if we are unable to show compassion to each other.
Right?
It just splinters the movement.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help anything.
Yeah. There was one telling comment by someone who was a non-vegan on Alex. His name is Alex, the Cosmic Skeptic. And it was a non-vegan person. And he said that the comments in this comment section, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect of the comments on this comment section are reading more like a cult.
Yeah, it's making me wonder if I would want to be part of this community.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The comments are just so freaking nasty that I don't think I would want to be part of this.
Right. Right. So if there are people who are considering going vegan or anything like that, would read those comments and be like, oh, well, if that's the kind of community that there is, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Right.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
No, not at all.
It's not a good look.
It's terrible for the movement to say things like that, especially in a public forum, you know?
So it's one of those things, for those of you who do feel the need to tear somebody down for slightly altering their worldview or making a different choice for whatever reason, just knock it off. Live and let live just a little bit.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. So do you have anything else to say about the Cosmic Skeptic or vegan YouTubers or vegan personalities?
No, not really. I mean, I think that there are a lot of vegan YouTubers out there, a lot of vegan podcasters out there who are doing really great work. And, I'm glad that those who have found a large following have found a large following. That's awesome. I absolutely love that. But I do think it's important that we place our time and our focus and our energy towards those who are actually out and doing and working.
Yeah, that are
for the cause.
giving back to the movement
Yes.
in some way,
Absolutely.
not just out there talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot to be said for somebody that can do speaking engagements and maybe change people's minds.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to be said for that, but we should not put all of our stock in people like that,
There you go.
Yeah, so that's the end of that.
Okay.
Let's move on to our reason of the week to be vegan. Do you have a reason of the week to be vegan? Reasons
to be vegan. Yes, this week's reason to be vegan, again, coming from 72 Reasons to be Vegan, Why Plant-Based, Why Now by Jean Stone and Kathy Freston, is reason number 42, and that's chickens like to be cuddled.
They do.
Who wouldn't want to cuddle a chicken?
I want to cuddle a chicken.
We don't have chickens.
We don't.
No. Anyway, many people say, I don't eat meat, just chicken. Say what? Eating chicken is eating meat. It is the body of a dead animal. That's that. But then they might say, well, chickens don't matter. They're not sentient beings. They can't feel pain. Actually, they can. Just as scientists have been uncovering how remarkable pigs are, they found chickens are pretty cool too. Studies performed at the University of Padua, Italy, have shown that chickens can count. They can solve basic arithmetic problems, just like any school child. According to a study from the UK's University of Bristol, they show remarkable empathy toward each other. They are very social animals and fully understand where they stand in their literal pecking order. And according to a study published in Animal Cognition in 2017, they can also reason by deduction, an ability that humans develop by the age of 7. For example, newly hatched chicks presented with 2 sets of objects of varying amounts hidden behind 2 screens were able to perform simple mental arithmetic and determine which screen hid the larger amount.
Wow.
Right? According to that same 2017 study, chicken communications are also quite complex and consist of a large repertoire of different visual displays and at least 24 distinct vocalizations. The birds possess the complex ability of referential communication, which involves signals such as calls, displays, and whistles to convey information. They may use this to sound the alarm when there's danger, for instance. This ability requires some level of self-awareness and being able to take the perspective of another animal, and is also possessed by highly intelligent and social species, including primates. Like pigs and humans, chickens have very distinct personalities. Some are fun-loving, some are arrogant, some are weird. By the way, you, human that you are, may think all chickens look alike, but not so to chickens. They can remember up to 100 other chickens, even after considerable time has passed. And yes, unlike most birds, chickens like being cuddled by humans, certainly more than they like to be killed by them. In the United States alone, we slaughter 9 billion chickens per year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chickens are cool.
Chickens are awesome.
Yeah.
We have a few neighbors, actually, who have chickens. Not direct neighbors, but folks near us who have chickens. And it's really fun in the morning as I'm driving to work. I just, look out the driver's side window and chances are the chickens are just running all over the yard. And I say hello to them every morning. Hey, chickens! Yeah, as I'm driving by.
Yeah.
They're great.
They are great. And they have their own little personalities. And
yes. Yeah. Like every other animal we've ever met.
Yep.
Yep. So go cuddle a chicken. Don't eat a chicken. Cuddle a chicken.
I want to find a chicken to cuddle, like right now.
I'm sorry, I can't help you with that.
I'll be back.
Okay. You're just going to head over to the neighbors?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that reason of the week.
My pleasure.
Reason number 42, which is, of course, the meaning of life. For all of you Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fans.
Okay.
Oh, our next segment is Sam's favorite segment.
It is. Do I get to do it again?
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row?
It's your segment.
It's my segment?
Yeah.
I didn't realize this. Okay. So our next segment, which is rapidly turning into my favorite, is the listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week we have Kristen Kostoniak. Woohoo!
Hey, Kristen.
Kristen is not fully vegan, but she has a vegan child and listens to the show. We met Kristen at the Western New York Veg Fest last year, and she's been an active supporter of the show. She often emails us about recipes, restaurants, and episodes of the podcast.
Yes, and funny thing, I had written this outline, I think end of last week, and after I decided that Kristen should be our listener shout out of the week, I got an email from Kristen that very same day.
Oh, that's awesome.
After I had decided that she was going to be the listener of the week. She was asking me a few questions about vegan tattoo ink, which was interesting. So I reached out to some people that I know and that are tattoo artists to try and answer her question. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, Kristen. And please contact us again with your address and your t-shirt size so we can send you a swag bag.
Yeah. We'd love to do that.
Yes, indeed. And that takes us to our housekeeping segment.
All righty.
Time to do the housekeeping. We're still holding our Food Not Bombs fundraiser at our Buy Me a Coffee site. That's at buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers. And we're raising money for the Buffalo chapter of Food Not Bombs. Food Not Bombs is a organization that provides vegan meals to vegans that are experiencing food insecurity. So if you can give to that fundraiser, we would really appreciate it.
Also, we'd love to hear from you, so email or DM us show ideas, cookbook recommendations, recipes that you love, or subjects that you would like us to touch on in future episodes.
Just subscribe to our YouTube. I'm working on some cooking videos and recently just dropped a video with our most recent Vegan Cuts snack box unboxing. So check that out.
Yeah, definitely goofy, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you get notifications when I drop videos. So
yeah. Want to get a listener shout out? Well, send us a DM or an email letting us know you listen and tell us a little bit about yourself.
And join our Patreon. We've added some of our recipes for patrons, and we'll be adding some fun behind-the-scenes videos. The link's always in the show notes, and if you want to join the community there, click that link.
Excellent. You can also leave us a review on your podcast app if it allows. And I know Christine would want me to say that if you can't leave a review, there are other things that you can do. Many podcast apps will allow you to rate.
Oh, really?
A podcast. Yes. I mean, I've heard something like this.
Oh.
That, there are these objects that you fill in, and the more you fill in, the better the rating is, supposedly. Yeah. And I think the things are usually stars, and the largest number you can do is 5.
She's come over to the dark side.
Just for you.
Share the show with a friend or family member that you think would enjoy what we do, and share our social media posts. Share and like and comment. It's the easiest way you can support us and all creators, and it costs you nothing.
That's right. And last but not least, go ahead and join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub. As Christine said earlier in the episode, she'll have links to all kinds of portals to the House and the Senate. So you can send information to your senators and representatives. Let them know where you stand on the new Farm Bill and what you believe is important as we move forward.
Yeah, and like I said, the deadline for that, for constituency response is March 31st. So get on it.
Get on it.
It.
Only have until Friday.
Yeah, and make sure you are a member of the Voter Hub.
Yes. I know I said that was last, but one last thing, because I just thought of it.
What's that?
Also, we announced on last week's show that I now have an Etsy store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, called Cucumber Craftworks, and I'm selling a variety of hand-knitted scarves, handmade gemstone jewelry. We've got some lovely fairy ones, which are for fairy gardens or potted plants or herb gardens or anything like that. So if you can, head on over to Etsy and check it out.
Yeah, the link is always in the show notes.
Always in the show notes. And again, no pressure to buy anything, but if you could follow the store or like the store, that would be amazing.
Yeah, check it out. There's some really cool stuff up there.
We do have some cool stuff.
Yeah. And Sam worked hard on all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are similar things that we will be vending when we hit the next pop-up market at the Vegan Center on April 22nd.
Yep.
And also when we hit Veg Fest season in the summer.
Yeah.
And all that good. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. And with that, episode 80 has come to an end.
It certainly has.
Thank you so much for spending the last hour and 59 seconds.
I thought you were about to say 59 minutes.
No.
And I'm like, there's no way that was 2 hours.
No, thank you so much for spending an hour of your time with us. We know everybody's time is precious, and we really appreciate that you're giving us some of it.
Yes, we do.
So we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Absolutely. Have a great week, everyone.
We love you. Bye-bye.
The end.
Do you want to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast? Well, you can do that by joining our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of support, and all 3 come with their own special bonuses. Hey, you can support the podcast and get yourself some really cool merch. All the links and deets are in the show notes. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of Compassion and Cucumbers.